Hi, I'm Patrick Phelps. Welcome back to Mining Matters. Today I'm talking about how to set up a mine. And first of all, you've got to absolutely smash your paperwork. Recently I saw a comment from Forest and Bird that it beggars belief that a 40-year mining permit was granted in an area of conservation land on the Coromandel Peninsula. I saw another comment from another anti-mining lobby group called Coromandel Watchdog, who said it's outrageous that there are currently 40,000 hectares of active exploration and mining permits over the Coromandel Peninsula. That's quite likely true, but given I don't have the time or really the inclination to check these figures, let's just roll with that as the basis of these numbers I'm about to throw out there. OceanaGold mined about 260 hectares of conservation land near Reefton for about 10 years, and in the same period produced about 610,000 ounces of gold. At today's gold price or thereabouts, that would be worth about $1.8 billion. So quite a lot of money. Numbers aren't my strong point, so let's say 40,000 hectares. At say 2,346 ounces a hectare, that's roughly what I figure out the average was for the mine up at Reefton. So you times 40,000 hectares by 2,346 ounces a hectare at say the current gold price, which admittedly is like record highs, but hey, these are crazy numbers anyway. At say $2,970 an ounce, that would be $278 billion, $704,800,000 New Zealand, or enough, if you will, to run our government for about 3.5 years if spending were about $80 billion a year for the New Zealand government. So in other words, not exactly a likely production rate. 40,000 hectares of exploration permits would be lucky to result in even 1,000 hectares of mining, especially in that area where all of these projects that are at least being looked into are most likely to be underground proposals anyway, so the footprint above ground is going to be very, very small. Now, I'm sure that these lobby groups are well aware of that, as well as the regulatory processes and the economic realities of getting a mine up and running. But for those of you who aren't aware of the regulatory or paperwork side of things for getting a mine up and running, well, this.
Well, hello there. Can you dig things from the ground and sell them at a profit? Once you've found an economic deposit, subject of course to your exploration permits, resource consents and land access, you'll be rather eager to start digging. But slow down, you still need a mining permit. Much of the coal and pretty well all of the gold in New Zealand is property of the Crown, a nationally owned resource, and you need the private rights to that resource. There's a fair bit of paperwork involved. I hope you've got a sharp pencil. New Zealand Petroleum and Minerals should only need about 6 months to get that processed. They're awfully busy up in Wellington, Buster. You've got your mining permit, but slow down. You can't just start mining. Whose land are you on? If that's private land, you'll have to come to an agreement with the landowner. What's that? You're on public land? Well, you'll need to get permission from the relevant minister or their staff. You're possibly on Department of Conservation land. An access arrangement's what you need. Bigger operations will end up with the minister and be publicly notified. Smaller applications are processed by departmental staff. Your access arrangement application will assess the area you wish to mine, the environmental impacts, the size, width and depth of your pit, potential impacts on archaeological or scenic values, a mine plan and rehabilitation proposals, consultation with iwi, among other things. Getting access should take a mere 4 to 5 months to assess for medium impact applications and 8 to 10 months for high impact applications. Once you've got your land access and your minerals permit, you're pretty well good to go. But you'll still need your resource consent under the Resource Management Act. You could have got this before or after obtaining your land access. This will cover how your operation will work and how you'll manage the potential environmental impacts. With a mining permit, land access and a resource consent, you should be ready to mine. But you still may also need a wildlife permit under the Wildlife Act and potentially approval from the Ministry of Culture and Heritage. Once you've got through everything, you can crack on with mining, which is of course a surefire, easy, if not guaranteed way to make a blimmin' fortune. Go to it, Buster.
So if the clock never stops because the people processing your application need more information and the civil servants manage to get through everything on time, then you're looking at least a year to get a mine up and running on conservation land just for a medium-sized operation, if not longer. And for a large operation or a high-impact operation, well, who knows? I mean, The appeal process can almost kill some projects, but I'll get into that another time. A mining permit is purely a commercial license to the resource. It's not land access, it's not a resource consent, it's not, I guess, as many people would possibly believe, a permit to mine as such. This is a little bit like setting up a radio station in the commercial sense anyway. First you need your rights to the airwave, and once you've got that you'll need to get land access to the land from which you would like to broadcast. And once you've got that, if you wanted to put a building on there, you'd still need a building consent. Once you've got all that set up, you have to comply, of course, with whatever regulations govern your rubbish, your wastewater. You've got to work under the Health and Safety Act. Obviously getting the commercial rights to the broadcast frequency is a good first step, but that's all it is. It's just a first step. In essence, there's a fair bit of work that goes into getting a mine set up purely from the regulatory side of things. And I haven't even really outlined everything, because making a video about paperwork's about as much fun as watching a video about paperwork. But I guess the key point is that yes, there's a lot of work that goes in. Is this level of regulation justified? I mean, quite possibly. Mining is a high impact industry and it should be held to an equally high level of scrutiny. Do the civil servants, different departments, always process things efficiently and on time? Quite possibly not. Do miners and the companies they work for always put in fantastic applications that are really easy for the civil servants to process? Quite possibly not either. Long and short of it is, mining permit, whether it's over 1,000 hectares or 40,000 hectares, is not necessarily a permit to mine. It's just a very, very important first step. Thanks for watching.